Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening and welcome everybody to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Josh Taylor in tonight for Bob Pompiani. Joined in studio from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and also hosts his own show on 93.7 The Fan. Paul Zeise joins me. And Paul, we'll get into quite a few topics today, but I think the one that sticks out the most right now, just because it's the most fresh one in our minds, is this loss by the Pirates to the Cubs. But not just the loss, the incident involving Anthony Rizzo and Elias Diaz. That is the thing that's been the hot topic of conversation. There's been debate not only amongst Pirates fans and Cubs fans, but nationally about whether or not this slide by Anthony Rizzo was dirty or if it was a clean slide, if he followed the rules according to Rule 7.13, or if Rule 6.08 was followed properly, and just whether or not this was interpreted well and whether or not he actually did it legally. But a lot of conversation about it so far.
I think the thing that is the most ridiculous about it is Elias Diaz already touched the plate, slid, his foot off the plate, and was throwing. He was 3 or 4 feet in front of the plate. It wasn't like he was even close to the plate. There was no question in my mind that it should have been overturned. It should have been a double play. I don't care. You know, if you're not going to enforce that rule the right way.
Right. And that was Clint Hurdle's frustration. I think it's pretty much why what he argued and eventually probably what got him kicked out of the game. And he mentioned it after the game. He said, look, we created this rule to protect catchers in that situation, and now we're not enforcing the rules. So he says it's pretty much like open season on catchers when they're defenseless and can't really avoid that play at the plate. So it does come back to, it circles back to Rule 7.13, where if the runner goes out of the baseline and make contact with the catcher, he's supposed to be ruled out. And that's the argument that Clint Hurdle has.
More importantly, if that play happened at second base, it would have been a double play.
That's true.
Because the whole point is they're trying to protect guys. They're trying to protect middle infielders. They're trying to protect catchers. And the thing about it is it's a bush league play. Elias Diaz can't see what's coming. It's one thing if his foot is on the bag or on the plate. It's one thing if he's blocking the plate a little bit. It's one thing if he actually just caught the ball. Rizzo was out by like 90 feet, or he was out by like 15 feet. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now it's not even close. Why are you sliding if you're not trying to take him out and hurt him?
That would be my question, because he was clearly out before Rizzo was even in the act of sliding. So why slide at that point if you're already out? What other intent do you have by sliding? Other than to take off.
And can I just say this, too? There are very few people in sports that really, truly just sort of make my stomach. I just want to throw up.
I know where this is
Joe Madden is one of the most condescending.
I knew it.
I invented the game. I'm smarter than everybody. Arrogant. I'm going to tell you what. I'm usually not one that gets involved in, they should have retaliated and all the bean brawl stuff. I'm telling you this much right now, the Pirates missed it on this one. Jason Hayward, who was up next after that play, should have caught one right in the middle of the back. Honestly, that's what he should have caught one. And then when they threw Crick out for doing that, I'd have brought in whoever was next, and I'd say, whoever's next up, I think it was Almara Jr., hit him too.
If you're going to use that mentality, I think they would have opened up the door for it. Because if you're going to argue that play is an old-school baseball play, which is one of the claims that I heard, then if that's the case, using that logic, then what you're saying, taking it to that next level, is pretty much as old school as you're going to get. Right?
Absolutely. And you got to protect your players. But here's the other thing. This isn't the first time we've seen this from Joe Madden in this team.
I would agree with that, too.
They have, for the last 4 or 5 years, or however long it's been since they've been good, they've been bullies. He's been, this kind of stuff goes on, living in the gray area, the whole thing about plantar fasciitis, you know what I mean? It used to be, and remember, it used to be Dusty Baker and the Reds and Aroldis Chapman hitting McCutchen and all that other stuff. Now it's them. It was the Brewers for a few, the Pirates have got to make a stand here, honestly. And I'm not one, believe me when I say this, I don't believe in a lot of the unwritten rules of baseball and all that crap. I think a lot of times when you see a guy get hit with a pitch, it's because the pitcher was trying to pitch inside and just lost it a little bit. For the most part, they're not trying to hit guys. They don't want to put guys on base. You know what I'm saying? But every so often, okay, guys throwing at somebody, maybe you got to do that. But in this case, with that team and that manager, I'm sorry. you got to plant one in the middle of the back of Jason Hayward, the very next hitter.
It might be a situation of you don't want to be seen as big brother or as little brother to big brother, so you might have to make that move that tells you the little brother's not going to take big brother stuff anymore. We got to take a break here, but before we do that, we want to remind everybody, tonight is our first installment of the Ruth's Chris Sizzling Shot. We'll give a high five to some of the local golfers who sank a hole-in-one on the links. The Sizzling Shot brought to you by Ruth's Chris at 6 PPG Place downtown, home of the sizzling steak done right. So we will do that in just a few moments here on the show. In the meantime, we'll take a break. We come back. We'll talk more about this. We're taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. We'll be right back here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.